Ferrari fan. Team Ferrari in Formula One. And I'm a fan of a Subaru. But I'm a fan of a Subaru STI or maybe a WRX that has been built. I visited a shop, or maybe just let's call it a yard, or maybe like a dealer, and I saw a 2021 Subaru WRX STI. 6-speed, everything is stock, or I can say stockish, and the stock part, I love the stock part because the vehicle has not been modified, but it was going at 34,000 at 2021, and then the mileage was about that was 35,000. I'm not sure if it was a true mileage or this person just does it drive like vehicle for weekend mods. And so I did my calculation, and as I was going through, there was a vehicle. I was 100% convinced that it was an STI. It had Brembo, STI Brembos, the STI wing, a 6-speed manual gearbox, STI cluster, STI bucket seats, and everything STI. But that vehicle was a WRX. Same year, 2021, and it was going, the mileage there was around 95,000, but it was going at about 27. No, it was going about $25,700. So when I did my calculation, I realized this is how people do it, because that person knows that the gearbox in it is a WRX 6-speed gearbox, but you might think it's an STI gearbox. So this is what people do. They get the WRX and build it over time. And then they make sure they keep the gearbox stock. Because it's a 6-speed, you might think it's an STI gearbox. So they'll keep it stock unless you drop that gearbox and check on the code and realize, oh, this is not the WRX, and this is not the STI gearbox. So Brembos are available. They can paint them, or you can just buy them aftermarket. So what people do is they get the WRX, the 6-speed manual, then change everything. And then someone goes by and just calculates, because there's a difference of about $10,000. He picks up like $6,000, gets an IAG block, closed deck, that's rated about 500 to 600 horsepower, and slaps in the vehicle. And then that's cheap speed and cheap horsepower, and then keeps the gearbox stock. So this person has made a WRX an STI performance and whips up the WRX automatically. Because if the WRX is doing 271 horsepower, let's say 300 horsepower, and mostly the WRX, they do 250, 271 horsepower. So what someone does is he slaps in the gearbox, he slaps in the IAG block that's at 5,000, does the nitty-gritties, and realize by the time you're hitting the 34,000 mark, someone already has 500 horsepower. And remember, this person will now put in some Brembos and everything, and he'll be getting an STI performance car with a cheap speed and cheap everything and better performance. So I like what people are doing to the JDM cars, especially the Supros. And I realized there was a vehicle I was convinced because I kept I kept seeing it flash by me. It's a blue. The exhaust is from the hood. It has these nice wraps, nice everything. Until I saw it parked in Walmart and I got closer and I realized it's a WRX, built WRX. Feels and sounds like an STI, but the problem, what my letdown was at the brakes, because it was just the regular brakes, not the Brembos. And Subaru, sorry, I was leading about something of Subaru made a very, I can say, a bad move for the calipers. I wish they had the calipers, the Subaru initial calipers that look like Brembos, the 4-port calipers. I wish they kept those calipers on those WRX cars just for that authenticity and for that feeling. But when they drop that off, it shakes a lot of stuff. I wish they just kept that so that it looked Brembo-ish, stock Brembo-ish, because they had the very nice 4-ports for the front and the nice 2-ports for the back. And I wish they kept that, because now you can just, maybe what they're trying to check is just see if the brakes are performing better. I have a friend with the new WRX, 271 horsepower stock. Okay, what he has done is just change he has put it on a wing. He has put on a hood scoop that is carbon fiber. The fenders, he's trying to change the fenders so that the vehicle is lighter, so that with the 271 horsepower, and then with the stage tune, he's putting some aeroflow exhaust just to have that nice rumble. I wish that vehicle had now those the Brembo-ish calipers from Subaru, because now that vehicle looks good with some cheap speed, but it's just a WRX. Subaru, that was a letdown. Talking about Subaru, they have tried the best to manage that WRX to look more presentable. They're trying to do a very good job, but man, that vehicle looks too tiny and scary too. It gives like a GC8 vibes, but it's not a GC8 look, not a GC8 test, but it looks good. I like what people are doing to their cars. I just like how people are doing, how people are trying to get more of what they like. Buying a car and then tuning it to their taste. They have a budget of 34,000, but what they do is they do 25, and then make sure the 10,000 difference is a proper build to the car. Subaru is doing something good, but I think it's too little too late. I think their competition was the Evo, and when the Evo died, it died with a vibe. But man, they better do something. They better do something. Compared to like what Toyota is doing, like what I'm driving is a 2026 Toyota Sequoia TRD off-road, rated at 583 pounds of torque and 437 horsepower. This vehicle takes off 0 to 60 in a whopping 5 seconds, and I've tried it. I've tried it, and it's pretty scary. It's very, very scary. But if Toyota can do that, I'm just wondering, where did Subaru snooze about when it was manufacturing these cars? Because it's pretty not okay. Oh, there's a parking spot over there. So, yep, this is a 2026 manufactured in a Texas plant. Oops. Manufactured in Texas in January 2026. And it feels and drives like a sedan. Feels and drives like a sedan. Man, I like this car.